Heidi Hopeametsä has traveled here all the way from Geneva. She is, out of the two speakers to come, she is the public sector speaker. She's self-employed, but she's working in a publicly funded project that we're going to learn very much about. I'm also going to just mention, just because I can, that Heidi made my blueberry bracelet. I think it's amazing. She's a designer of both clothes and human interaction. Please welcome Heidi Hopeametsä.
Thank you. And have a good afternoon. I can't see anyone, but maybe, hopefully you can see me. To start, I want to say two things. First, moving from one place to another and adjusting to live in a new country opens new perspectives and it changes us. And second, when you have limited choice of options, you're forced to use your creativity and find new solutions and new ways of combining things. And the result can be more interesting than if you could freely choose whatever you wanted. And these personal experiences and reflections on them have shaped my project, Coudre le fil des relations, weaving relationships in English, that I do in Geneva, Switzerland. It's a creative sewing class that Espace Solidaire de Paqui proposed during 6 months in 2012, 2 afternoons per week. They offer immigrants free activities like language classes and help with writing your CV, and they had sewing machines and they wanted a creative activity. The project was organized in collaboration of Unité Action Communautaire, which is a social service of the city in charge of building new relationships and in the neighborhood and empowering the inhabitants. It was financed by le Bureau d'intégration des étrangers, the Office of Integration for Foreigners of the state of Geneva. The creative sewing class was free and open to everyone. People were asked to sign up always for the next class, and the maximum of participants was 8 people for one class. The goals of the project were practical and social. Practical goals included participants learning and developing their sewing skills, learning to use sewing machine, overlock machine, different sewing techniques, planning, and realizing a project. Developing creativity, learning to use the environment, the materials, and personal experiences as a source of inspiration for the design. And developing their language skills, we had group discussions in French. Social goals included bringing together people from different groups and creating connection and social interaction between local people and immigrants. On individual level, the activity proposed a way of developing self-expression and self-esteem through creative work. During 6 months, total 59 people signed up for the class, 13 men, 46 women. They were from 20 different countries. There were people who passed by for just one class or stayed for a few classes or showed up every now and then, but we had a core group that was formed during these months and came regularly, and some of them were present almost every class. The mix, you can see the core group, the nationalities and ages in the picture. The mix of different ages, genders, sewing skill levels, and cultural backgrounds of this group created an open and welcoming atmosphere for new people to join us. And for the group, it provided lots of interesting discussions. We had people who had never sewn anything in their life, and also very skilled, creative people who had given their sewing class themselves. I did not even think about the age differences during the project. In the moment, it just felt natural to have Kali, 20-year-old Senegalese man, to discuss his dreams with Susana, Spanish lady, 42 years old, and Yvette, Italian, Swiss, 76 years old. But at the same time, it was pretty amazing. Preparing my classes, I combined my sewing experiences, techniques, and skills with my background from cultural studies and game studies, creating my own approach, methods, and exercises for the project. Here's some photos. A class started always with a guided discussions over a cup of tea or coffee together. And these discussions helped building the group dynamics. We learned to know each other and something about the culture in the countries where the participants come from. We discussed, for example, the differences in how the participants dress up in Geneva and how in their own country and why. And based on, as part of the discussions, I created creative games which gave the participants a new approach to showing and helps in starting seeing everything in a creative way. It was also a good possibility of practicing French, and some people joined the class especially for this reason. Every work created in my class has a story. More important than technical perfection was the joy of creating and pleasure of seeing the results. I did not give any ready-made examples, but encouraged everyone to find their own expression. As materials, we used second-hand clothes. I presented different techniques which the participants then explored with their own ideas and style. One of the projects was based on the discussion where everyone told a small memory related to the country they come from. And then they chose a detail from their story and gave it a visual form. Here is one example. The story is in French, but it's there next to it. The result could be a decorative detail, a color choice, a type of the clothes created, or anything. These projects were presented in the evening, organized as part of the Week Against Racism to express the cultural diversity in Switzerland. The stories included spicy Jamaican food, seaside in Senegal, stealing oranges on a climbing trip in Spain, and Italian carnival biscuits. The objects were created, they were items that participants wanted to make or create: a computer bag, trousers, handbag, a backpack. Another exercise was a patchwork favorite place in Geneva, in which the participants in a discussion first shared their experiences in Geneva and then learned how to transform these places into patchwork, which then could be finished, for example, as a pillow, a bag, a computer bag. And the core group grew close during the 6 months. The participants spoke with each other on the street outside the class. They also organized a small surprise party for me on my 34th birthday during class. And the real end of the 6-month project was not actually the official evening which we planned and organized together, and where we presented our work for the public with a creative workshop disguised as a game, but Yvette's 76th birthday. At her home, Yvette considered everyone close enough to invite us to her home. And it was not even a day of sewing class, and everyone from the core group came. So, how was this experience designed? First, it was not only about sewing. People already joined the group for different reasons, sewing just being one of them. Some wanted to improve their French. Some came to spend time together with other people. Second, giving enough limits and freedom. People enjoy an activity when a challenge and the skills are in perfect balance. In my class, I give people a structure inside which they set the challenge themselves. I help when needed, and I also let other participants to help. People with a lot of sewing experience can plan a challenging project. They get to feel helpful when helping others. And people who have never touched a sewing machine can do something more simple, but the differences don't matter, as everyone has their own story to tell before and after the creative work. The materials that people work on are second-hand clothes and their own experiences. Both, and especially combining them together, gives limits and thus opens up the creativity. Third important point is to make people feel good. And the values and ideas that carry my project are positive attitude. Some people who come to my class may be living a difficult moment in life, and I want to offer a space in which everyone can feel safe, have an experience of succeeding, possibility of forgetting about other things for the time spent together with the group. The discussions have always positive topics, things we like in life, good memories, favorite places, dreams. I believe that it's good for everyone to remind ourselves about the things that make us happy, and as much as possible. We need to value diversity. All individuals are equal. It doesn't matter if you're a teacher or student, wealthy, poor, local, foreigner, have less or more skills, good or difficult moment in life. And you need to show this to people all the time, in every way possible, because it's not self-evident. In my project, there's no evaluation of the result. When the person is happy with the result, it's good. And when everyone does not do the same thing but chooses their individual projects, there's no need to compare to what others have done. People often feel insecure because they believe that there is a right way of doing something and that the right way is defined by someone else, others. I don't believe that there is a right or wrong way, especially when we work with people's life experiences. And when people get this, they make amazing, inspiring things. And one way to break the insecurity is to make an exercise or discussion feel like a game, as games create a temporary space out of ordinary, playful, and not serious. I also used a lot the step-by-step approach in which the participants don't know the purpose of the exercise beforehand and where the first step will lead, and it also feels like a game. Important as well is sharing ideas, materials, food, experience, time, important for atmosphere of doing together. Encouraging people to share and help, respect and appreciate the different skills and point of views that people have. Freedom to choose to tell what you want, and thus in a way to be what you want. Participants decide how much and what they share about themselves. They don't pose any too personal questions. I don't ask how they found my class, if it was social service or if it was association helping immigrants, or if it was just someone creative that saw a newspaper article and was interested in joining to do some creations out of second-hand materials. Also, there's freedom to choose what to create. So when this starting point for a creation is sharing an experience, finally, you don't feel good only about learning something new and about the finished object, but also about your experience that was used as a starting point. The result can be pretty, fun, but also powerful. To finish my speech, I give 2 examples. Yvette had told in one discussion that she would love to dress up more colorful, but that is not socially acceptable for a woman of her age, and thus she does not dare. This followed an interesting discussion on how other people's expectations can limit the way of expressing ourselves. Finally, Yvette started a project as a reflection on the theme. She made a beautifully colorful patchwork dress out of second-hand clothes, and she wore it to her birthday party. The dream of Anne was to sing, but she did not know how to express this as an image. She just wanted to draw a flower that consists of 4 hearts. When I asked her how it represents singing, she first repeated many times that she does not know. She would simply like to draw that image. And we discussed it a little bit more. Finally, she looked at her hearts for a moment and told me, because I want to sing in a choir. This is the group of people singing together, and in the middle they connect, and that is the singing. We were happy, and I asked her if she already knew that she wanted to sing in a choir. And she said no. She only knew that she wants to sing. So who knows, maybe by creating this simple image, Anne is now a step closer in making her dream come true. At least the image she printed on a piece of fabric will remind her of the dream every time she sees it. The project continues now in a new neighborhood with new people from very different backgrounds again. And the people from last year's group, they come to visit when they can. It's Aiden, Yvette, and Anne. Thank you.
Thank you, Heidi, for sharing that. Wait a little. I have a question. I have goosebumps from the birthday party images. Step over here so people can see you. Yes. I wonder. I realize I'm trying to translate this to Alibi, and I realize that the exercises in themselves and the context, it's like a series of alibis that always make sharing sort of safe. I wonder, is it important that you are also an immigrant in Switzerland?
Well, like I told you in the beginning of the speech, I think it's important to have this experience, and that's how I built my project, because I had this experience, and it made me think about a lot of things that I didn't start explaining here now. But this project, in the first place, would never have existed without me having these experiences. And I think that when people come to a new place, they don't have the experience yet, but we can have an exchange in which, and there are also people who have lived in Switzerland like 20 or 30 years, but they have lived it as well. So it's a meeting point for people who are living or have lived or will live the same kind of experiences. And I don't know if that answers your question, but to me it's important, and without that experience there would not be this project. I think it's helpful also to be able to place myself in an equal situation, because if you're Swiss and you want to integrate immigrants, you maybe think of people as them, and like to make the distinction between, which I want to avoid, and which I think it's better this way.
All right, very good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Heidi Hopeametsä.